Welcome to my channel, Historical Images, where I share rare and historic photos that changed the world. Here you will find incredible images that capture important moments in history, from major world events to intimate and personal moments.
You've probably heard the well-known expression that an image is worth more than 1,000 words, but the photos in this collection have much more to say than each of these images. It has a rich and unique story that takes us to different times and offers us a unique view of what life was like. With these photographs, we can explore and understand the past, which, although distant, still echoes in our present.
Stevie Wonder, the famous singer, composer, and American multi-instrumentalist, visited a blind children's school in London in 1970. The visit had a significant impact on the children and the school, as Wonder not only spent time with the students, but also played music for them. During the visit, Stevie Wonder spent time with the children, talking to them and listening to their stories. The visit was an exciting and inspiring experience for everyone involved, and left a lasting mark on the children's school for the blind in London. The use of animal fur is an ancient tradition in many cultures in Northern Europe and Russia, and the clothing of animal fur is still used in some religious and cultural ceremonies. In addition, the Russian Orthodox Church has a rich tradition of religious art, including icons and clothing decorated with images of animals and plants. The city of Istanbul in Turkey is known for its busy nightlife and for having a wide variety of bars and clubs. As in many other cities around the world, it is common for people to drink too much at bars and parties and need help to get home safely. In some cities, there are transport services or taxis that specialize in taking people crammed back home. During the 1918 flu pandemic, also known as the Spanish flu, facial masks were widely used in many parts of the world as a precautionary measure against the spread of the virus. California was one of the states in the United States most affected by the pandemic, and in some local cities, public health authorities forced citizens to wear masks in public. The use of masks was an important effort to help reduce the spread of the flu at a time when there were no vaccines or effective treatments available. Group of people gathered around a dinner table in an American rural house. The scene portrays the Pauli family's Christmas dinner, with simple but delicious dishes being served for the celebration. The main dish of the dinner is made of potatoes and cabbage, which were probably grown locally in the family farm. The photograph conveys a sense of community and tradition, capturing an important moment in the life of the Pauli family and the rural community in general. It is a simple but powerful image, which shows the beauty of simplicity and the importance of valuing the simplest things in life, such as a homemade meal shared with the people we love. Willis Veen, a former slave, holding a horn used to call slaves during the slavery period in the United States. The photo was taken in 1936 and shows Veen in advanced age. The expression on his face is serious and suggests a story of a difficult and painful life. The image is a powerful reminder of the horrors of slavery and the lasting impact it had on the lives of African Americans. At the time of 1940, the United States went through countless floods and natural disasters at that time, especially in rural and urban areas where African American populations were more vulnerable and less attended by emergency services and humanitarian aid. An outdoor with the highest standard of living slogan in the world is not the same as the American way was ironically used in a context of inequality and human suffering, since many African American communities were marginalized and lived in precarious conditions compared to the rest of American society. 3 young Russians and a little girl putting flowers at the feet of 4 American soldiers killed in action. According to information, the Russians had been released from a slave labor camp by American soldiers and were grateful for their freedom. They were moved to see the bodies of the dead soldiers and wanted to pay tribute to them. The photo became a symbol of the gratitude of the peoples liberated by the American soldiers who fought during World War II. The current city of Leningrad, St. Petersburg, was surrounded by German forces for more than 900 days. During this period, the city suffered air bombings and land attacks, as well as severe food, water and medical supplies shortages. Because of the threat of chemical attacks, people in Leningrad were forced to wear gas masks. As a precautionary measure during the war, gas masks were common protection equipment during World War II. Russia faced a bloody conflict between the Bolsheviks, who took power in October 1917, and a coalition of anti-Bolshevik forces, known as the White Army. Allied nations, including the United Kingdom, France, the United States and Japan, intervened in the Russian Civil War in support of the White Army, with the aim of overthrowing the Bolshevik government and restoring order in Russia. These interventions included the shipment of troops, supplies and weapons, as well as the establishment of military bases in areas controlled by the White Army. Slaves were frequently kidnapped from their homes and transported in extremely precarious conditions to work in plantations, mines or other forced labor. Slaves were deprived of freedom and forced to work long hours under dangerous and unhealthy conditions, often without the right to rest, adequate food or medical care. In addition, slaves were often subjected to physical punishment, sexual abuse, forced separation from their families, and other forms of psychological and physical violence. Slave abuse also included the denial of their rights as human beings, such as the denial of education, the right to practice their religion, the right to marry or have families, and the right to justice. In addition, slaves were often seen as property, and their owners could sell them, mistreat them, or kill them at any time, without any legal consequence. The impact of slavery abuse continues to be felt to this day. Yes, Harry S. Truman served as captain during the First World War. In 1917, after the entry of the United States into the war, Truman enlisted in the National Guard of Missouri. In May 1918, he was sent to France as part of the 35th Infantry Division. He demonstrated skill and courage in combat, and his efforts paid off with several military decorations, including the Medal of Honor of the 129th Field Brigade. When he became President of the United States in 1945, his experience in the First World War and the Second World War helped him make difficult decisions in relation to foreign policy and national defense. Elvis Presley's mother, Gladys Presley, died of complications from hepatitis in Memphis, Tennessee. Elvis was very close to his mother and was extremely shaken by her death. He comforted his father, Vernon Presley, during this difficult period. Elvis and Vernon had a close relationship, and Elvis stayed by his father's side during his mother's mourning. The death of Gladys Presley had a significant impact on Elvis's life and changed his perspective on life and death. He wrote a song in honor of his mother, named Odonti Crideri. The Republic of the Fijian Islands is an insular country in the Pacific Ocean located east of Australia and west of the islands of Taichi. Fijian men traditionally wore a vegetable fiber shirt called sulu. They also wore a wide variety of ornaments, including necklaces and bracelets of shells and pearls, which are an important source of income for Fijians to this day. Fijians are known for their distinct culture, which includes elaborate ceremonies, traditional dances, music and crafts. The period of 1945 marked the end of the Second World War in France, and the city of Paris was one of the most affected European cities by the conflicts. Baguette is a typical French bread and is consumed daily by many French. The wine bottles are also an important cultural element in France, as the country is known for its wine production. This photo represents a moment of relief and celebration after the Nazi occupation. During the apartheid in South Africa, which lasted from 1948 to 1994, racial segregation was institutionalized in all areas of life. This included segregation in buses, trains and other public transport, where white and black passengers were forced to sit in separate areas. In 1986, a man was photographed in a van riding on a bus intended only for white passengers, in an act of resistance against apartheid policies. The photo became a symbol of resistance against racial discrimination and the struggle for equal rights in South Africa. These actions helped draw the attention of the world to the injustice of apartheid and contributed to its end in 1994.
If you right on the channel, leave your like and don't forget to turn on the notification bell to receive my videos.